What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more classical music. And I do want to apologize. I feel like of all my reaction categories, I have sort of neglected this one the longest, and it felt more egregious because I've been sort of suspended between the third and fourth movement of Dvorak's 7th Symphony. I mentioned it before, I love all of Dvorak's work, including all of his symphonies. But I do think maybe the 7th is my absolute favorite. This is one of my favorite performances. I have a number of different CDs with different conductors, different orchestras for Dvorak symphonies, but as I said, this version of the 7th, for some reason, I've just always loved it. Shout out to James Levine, the conductor on this one. I don't know if I mentioned before, but it says that the release was produced by J. David Sachs, so shout out to him, as well as the recording engineer, Paul Goodman. But yeah, this is the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. This was recorded, I think, in the early 90s, is that right? No, it's 85, that's right, it's the mid-80s. So this is a performance recorded in the mid-80s. We're up to the fourth movement of the 7th Symphony in D minor, opus number 70 by Antonín Dvořák. And I mentioned before, not only is this one of my favorite symphonies, but the third movement always stood out to me as just this triumph of like dramatic, almost like, what's the word? Like sultry music in the way it kind of has this dance feel, but it's very like hypnotic. It really has this intense sound. So yeah, if you saw the reaction to the third movement, you'll see, you know, how powerful I felt it was. But it's, I mentioned before, the first movement I remembered a fair deal, but the second and fourth movements, you know, I didn't remember as much. And if you look at my reaction to the second movement, it was a real ride because I kept sort of like maybe feeling where it was going, but then it would kind of shift on me, so it was very unpredictable. The fourth movement is basically the same in that I don't remember it nearly as well as the third movement, or to a lesser extent the first movement. It is an Allegro, fair to say. The one thing I do remember about it is that the beginning of the movement has a very sort of like brooding, almost troubled atmosphere. It begins with a lot of sort of like mental tension. So yeah, beyond that, I don't remember much of the sonics or the twists and turns along the way, the contours of the aural journey, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm sure as we get to certain parts, there might be like little motifs or little themes or sequences that will come back to me. But without any further ado, let's get to it. This is the fourth and final movement of Dvorak's Symphony number 7 in D minor, opus number 70, and it is an Allegro. Oh wow. It's even a little more brooding than I remembered. Pressing, it's like troubled thoughts, troubled times. Level of power right out of the gate, I did not remember. Okay, yeah, it's coming back. Don't let anyone ever tell you classical music is boring. You feel it like crawling back into sort of this headspace there. Touches there that were like, they felt more like the vulnerability rather than the sort of oppressive, like brooding, like sense of trouble. It was like the flip side of the same situation. sweeter and softer, but not like fully resolved. Complex. It doesn't feel like a battle per se, but it feels like an internal struggle, like you're trying to find the proper emotional state. That's cheeky. From woodwinds to strings. Mischievous. In that moment, it was almost like getting on the edge of the same vibe as The Sorcerer's Apprentice. There's a sense of something slipping through, like, again, a mischief or like a worry that there's like a virus in the machine, like something there that's problematic. It's like this tonal conflict. As it arrived, but yeah, the brass would not let you feel comfortable for a moment or two there. It's like this piece unsettles you as it reassures you. As a simple like stream of water, and it built it into this fountain, this explosion. Oh, get out of here, Mr. Dvořák. The way it was like he was conjuring the forces of the tune and then just like unleashed them like a spell. Sort of emotional, like precision of that moment. Even if in that precision it's still sort of multifaceted and complex. Probably like this, right? Oh, my man on the timpani is having a time though. It's like if you took the entire gamut of emotional experience of humanity and like tried to express it in one theme. This is That like push right there. Again, like building up the lather. Oh, it's just the way he's wielding the orchestra is Dvořák, and faithfully articulated by Mr. Levine and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. It's just this dynamic, powerful use of the orchestra sounds. Oh my God. It's like he came in double time there. Oh, the world is ending. It's crashing down. It's a cataclysm. But still, there's warmth. Bravo, maestro. Yeah, that's just brilliant. Again, there were a couple moments along the way that they sort of came back to me as I heard it, but it certainly wasn't as familiar as the third movement, so I was a little bit more sort of at the whim and mercy of the composition. But I really enjoyed it. As I said, it felt sort of like an internal struggle. It felt like an entire spectrum of emotions somehow like compacted into the same like moments, the same themes. There was some interesting play with the sort of the sequence of some of the parts, where different parts of the orchestra were exploring different or similar motifs. Then again, the timpani like really stood out in a couple parts, just the power of the drum, if you will. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of the performance of the symphony overall. If you've heard a different version or a different under the conduction of someone else, do let me know. But yeah, as I mentioned, when I do the next symphony from Dvořák, maybe I'll go to his most famous, the New World, the Ninth. Maybe I'll go to one of the earlier ones. I do love the Fourth. I do love the Eighth. But yeah, I have like an entire Dvořák symphony set. So I might do at least one or two of the symphonies from that. But then I have like other Dvořák symphonies on like Naxos and some other labels. So yeah, different composers, different orchestras. Or different conductors, sorry, different orchestras. But eventually we'll go through all 9 of his symphonies as well as some other pieces. I did do his Czech suite already. Check that out if you're interested. But yeah, big shout out to Dvořák. Big ups to James Levine and the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Yeah, let me know what you thought. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.